Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, happy Friday, everybody. It's kind of a rainy day here in Dallas, but the market has been kind of weak. Amazon came out of the box strong. It's in a buy point, but everything's pulling back. So not necessarily the best news out there. But just kind of want to go through the charts with you. Let's take a look at the Qs right now. This is, of course, the QQQ Trust. See if I can blow that up a little bit for everybody so everybody can see it. Oh, goodness. There we go. All right. There we go. That's better. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So there's the QQQ Trust, and, it went right up to the 340 line, and then it was rejected. So it looks like we're going to be probably going sideways here for a little bit. That seems to be what's happening in the market right now. Just kind of a tough market to trade, just because it's so choppy, and it's been like that. So tough market to trade, and I had to close my spread on Corvo today. Just did not was not looking good, so I closed that, and just a kind of a generally slow day out there, pulling back. The spider is it's 417, which is not bad. It's still well above the 50-day line, but it's pulling back too. It's kind of forming this tight pattern. That seems to be how everything is sort of trading right now. It's kind of trading in a range, and kind of a tough one to trade. Just wanted to show you the stock of the day, and of course that's Amazon. And for everybody that's on the Discord room, we did do a bull call spread on this one. Hopefully that will work. It's currently pulled back about $10 from this. It's about 34.73 right now, 34.74. But it's performing this very nice cup with handle pattern, and hopefully in the next few days it will move higher. It's definitely pulled back, but it just had blowout earnings, so go figure. I guess it's just a common thing. It's selling buying rumor, selling news, and I think that's the case here. So Amazon is up, but it should be up more probably, and maybe it will be in the next few days. All of my stocks that I'm holding long are retreating right now. Boy, that's not good. Fluor is down. Corvo, as I said before, I had to close the spread that I have, and I still have some of the underlying shares, but it's down today. Apple is down. It's sort of in that kind of funk. It's in between about that 127 and about 135 level, but it's off today a little bit too. The volume is down a little bit. They had a tremendous earnings, but again, it's a buying rumor, selling news. This stock called UiPath, it's down a little bit too. It's kind of been holding in there. This is sort of an IPO. This is sort of my more risky category. I bought this one yesterday morning. Matador Resources. It's a oil stock. That seems to be one of the few sectors that's doing really well. It's at 26. It's down a little bit, but it's actually been looking fairly good. So that's kind of a rundown of sort of where we're at right now with with the general market. So it's kind of a tough market to trade right now. Just it's not been as easy as I would have liked it to have. A lot of oil and gas earnings this week, including Den. How should we play it? Good question, Andrew. I want to. It's funny. I've wanted to do a bull call spread on this. But let's take a look at the chart. It's difficult. So here we go. We pulled up the chart for Den. I was looking to do a bull call spread on Fang. They're reporting next week too. I do have again. I have this position in Matador as well. So there's about three of them in there that I really like: Matador, Fang, and and Denbury Resources, which is Den. So let's look at Den first. And let's move over to that. Share out that screen. There we go. I'm just going to go right to the chart here. Okay, so with Denbury Resources, we have this great chart, and we came up. Well, that's Amazon. Let's look at the Denbury Resources. Yeah, come on, baby. There we go. Here's Denbury Resources. This was an IPO. This was formerly a private company that was taken public, and it's been looking good. It has this tight pattern here. Here's what I would do on this one. Probably, I do expect this one to move past this point, but what I would do is probably a call spread on this, and that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a call spread on one of these stocks. Probably it's going to be FANG, just because of certain things. I want to take a look at Denbury Resources, look at their debt load. Yeah, see, one of the good things about Denbury Resources is very, very low debt, only 7% debt there. If you go over, for instance, to CPE, which is Callon Petroleum, and this is very important when you're looking at a resources stock, you want to be very careful about their debt load. CPE, Callon Petroleum, it has a very high debt load. It has basically 418%. So I'm not as interested in this kind of stock in the commodity space. I'm more interested in one with a lower debt load. Let's look at FANG, FANG, for potential one. This is the one I was looking at for a call spread. I actually like this one probably the best. It has a little bit more debt. It's 64% debt, more than Denbury Resources, but still definitely manageable, and it's right at a kind of a buy point. So that's why I like it. This is my reversal line that I drew on. It's pulled back today. I want to see a reversal, above about 80, but I do think this one potentially is viable. Obviously not today because it's pulled back, but I think this one is viable in the near future. Now, here's the thing, and I just want to kind of look at several indicators. One thing I kind of don't like about Dynemak Energy is, of course, we have this relative strength line that's pointing downward. Don't like that. So let's take a look at Denbury to see kind of, and these are very similar stocks. So this is why I'm doing this. Let's look at Denbury. Yeah, we don't have that issue with the relative strength line, which I'm liking. So that's potentially better. See, that's an upward trend on the relative strength line. Let me look at the one I have, Matador, MTDR. MTDR. Let's kind of look there. See, this one has, unfortunately, a downward trend. So your best bet probably is Denbury Resources. That is true. Look at that. DEN. So here's what I would look to possibly do. It's got earnings in 6 days. So we would have to do you could do a bull put spread on this. So let's kind of look at how the options are trading. This is really the only way I would do it, just because this market is so screwy. I think we really are better off just doing it with this with options. Looking at the call options here, looks like they're pretty much getting all filled. There's not a whole lot of action on them, but it does appear that the June 21st 55 call seems to be trading pretty well, and the 60 call. So if we were to do a spread, I'd probably do a 55.60 on Denbury Resources. So that's a very, very good question, Andrew. I really appreciate that. That's really kind of, that's one of the only sectors that seems to be kind of holding up here, and that's been the oil and gas sector. And you're right to take a look at this. I kind of want to look at some of the other potential stocks in this sector. This is showing the entire sector. As you can see, it's each stock has a very similar signature here. But let's look at the stocks. Devon Resources. Diamondback is up here. Let's look at Devon. I want to see DVN to see how that one's trading. To see pretty similar as well. It's in this cup formation right under the buy point. They're all pretty similar in terms of this, but I don't like this downward trend on the relative strength line. So I probably would eliminate that one. So I think probably the best would be DEN, at least from what I've seen so far. So that's kind of where I would be looking to do something with Denbury Resources. That probably is going to be our best bet. So let's go to the next question. Let's look at FuelCell and XL for long term. Well, here's the problem with the fuel cell. It's in a F cell has been, kind of pulling back fuel cell energy. I mean, I know that people wanting to say long term on this, but in the long term, I think we're all dead. So I can't see this one for long term. Let's look at the weekly chart. I would have been out of this one, to be honest. I wasn't in this one in the first place, but I would definitely be out of this one based on this trend line. It's just not the kind of thing you want to see. So I can't recommend fuel cell for long term. I think if you're down more than 7%, you ought to consider selling, because just does not look like a good market for that. But let's look at XL, and that's XL Fleet Corp. Another similar, very bad chart. Just unfortunately, right now, it's just not being kind to us. These charts just really aren't looking good. I mean, even though their sales are way up, they're still not profitable, and it's just I know it's tough. The automotive sector has been taking a hit as of late. Let's go over and take a look at how Ford is doing. They pulled back strongly. Yeah, unfortunately, Ford is down significantly. It's below the 50-day moving average, so that's consideration for Ford as well. All the automotives have been doing poorly. Unfortunately, the strength of the group has been falling. It's currently 92 out of 197. And basically 3 months ago it was 1 or 2. So the money is moving out of the electrical vehicles, at least for right now. And I hate to say that, because I really like Tesla. I made a lot of money on it last year, but I have not been able to come back in. It just hasn't given us an opportunity. Also, kind of want to look at. See, it's just pulling right. It's going to pull below the 50-day line. So now I wouldn't be shorting Tesla, but I don't think I'd be buying it either. So let's look at NIO, kind of to see what's going on there. Yeah, NIO is pulling back. It's bounced below the 50-day line. It's just above the 200-day line. So if it breaks below that, that's not a good sign. Again, problems with the relative strength. It's pointing down. So I can't be excited about anything in this industry. It's decreasing relative to the S&P 500. This line up here is the S&P 500 line, and you can see it's trading below that. So let's kind of compare that to some of the oils that we've been looking at. Let's look at Matador MTDR to kind of see. And it's still trading below that, but the trend is up. And the relative strength line, it could be better. I mean, 98 is good, but it does have somewhat of a downtrend. I think the one in this group that you want to be looking at is Denbury Resources, DEN, because it does have it really has a superior chart in all respects. The relative strength line is pointing up. I'm liking that. And it looks like it's making higher highs, and that's very, very important. So if you're looking to do a spread trade, this is probably the one to do it. I'm going to try to put that out for my action trade alerts people tonight. This one probably will be free, so look out for that. It'll hopefully be coming out pretty quick. All right, how does it look for the rest of the year investing in stocks, or better to stay in cash? Wow, Samuel, you're right. I mean, this is a really hard market to to trade right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm still very heavily in cash. I'm still about 75% in cash. I'm just doing spreads. I do have a few positions. I was loading up on Apple, but it looks as if that's pulling back too. It's amazing. They had a blowout quarter. I mean, literally. And they're going to be doing a stock buyback, it looks like. But even with that, it's not enough. It's just it's a tough market to trade. I mean, let's take a look at Apple, AAPL. I did have a spread on Amazon. It's holding its own, but it's still pulled back a little bit. As you can see, this is the chart for Apple here. They just had a stellar earnings, but as you can see, there's sellers. The sellers are in there, so you can't deny that the sellers are in there, even though it's one of the strongest stocks out there. I also sold Microsoft right before earnings. because it wasn't holding up either, which is, that's not a good sign either, because that one should be one of the strongest. MSFT, and I did sell it out. I tightened my stop loss. As you can see with Microsoft, it is below the 21-day line. It's still above the 50-day, so that's good. But it's showing weakness as well. Kind of want to look at Amazon to see how it's going to close. I do think that Amazon, will, yeah, okay. I think Amazon is going to close higher, just barely. I think Amazon is going to close higher, just barely. It started out the day, it went right up to the 56, the 55, 52 buy point, and then it was rebuffed and it moved lower. So, but it's still in a trend upward. It had very, very strong earnings. But still, it's just this market is tough to trade. It's also a Friday, but still, um, you know, sales were up 44% and profits were up 215%, and yet it's barely hanging on to its small gains. So this is a hard market to trade right now. I'll be honest with you. And I'm mostly in cash. Um, Thoughts on a Bitcoin buy point? Well, there is a key level on Bitcoin. It's about 51,000. I'm going to switch to a different chart because my charting software. I'm just going to look at the Bitcoin price. If we can get some. Yeah, we're 56,000. As long as we're staying above about 51, we're okay. Let's see if I can. This is CoinDesk. I sometimes use these guys. It's kind of hard to see this chart, but let me see. Let me put it up here. Sometimes a little bit hard to see this one because they use a color that I don't like for the mountain chart. It's a yellow, which I think is not the best color to use, but I think you can see it here. Oh boy, it's really hard to see on this. But basically, the key level is about this 51 level, and as long as it can hold that, I think we're okay. But I don't know. I don't know. It's really tough to say. I want to kind of see how GBTC is trading. GBTC is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and they hold about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. And this is what I use to basically trade Bitcoin. I don't trade it directly. There's a lot of reasons for that because some of my accounts, I can't trade it, but I can trade the GBTC, and that's how I kind of deal with it. So I kind of get around it. Right now, GBTC is trading in a range. It's up today about $4.50, and it does seem like it's just in this range, is in this consolidation range from about you know a low here of about 37. Now, of course, this is the GBTC itself. This is Bitcoin, but essentially this trade's very, very similar to Bitcoin. It's pulled up to the 21-day line. It seems like it's gaining strength, but it's in this consolidation. So I really don't know what to say about Bitcoin. I do think though that there's going to be some issues with Bitcoin coming up, political issues, and that may be that may be a real problem. That'd be a real problem. Hey, thanks, Levi. Let's look at LPX. This is another area like the oils that are doing well, and this is lumber, Louisiana Pacific. It's unfortunately today it's got earnings basically in about 4 days, and it has fallen below the 10-day line. Now, if it does reverse above this 10-day line, that would be a good place to buy it because I still think it is very strong. So let me kind of give you a price where I would buy it. Here's the thing: I would buy this, and this isn't a true reversal, but at 67.25. That's if it moves above that. That's where I buy it. That's as it's this little pink line here. This is the 10-day line. As it moves above that, that's probably where you want to buy it. Now, I think that's good, probably for up to about 71. So if you want to day trade it, you want to be buying it on strength at about 67.25, and then riding it up to about 71 if that's possible, and that'll be next week. So that might be a way to trade. That might be a way to trade LPX. It's a strong issue right now. It's a strong issue. All right, let's look at REYN. REYN, I don't know this one. REYN. Okay. Reynolds Consumer Products. Okay, well, I knew these guys from years and years ago. These are the Reynolds Wrap people, I guess, and they're based, I think, in Richmond, Virginia. Not a terrifically good chart, to be honest with you. Downward trending chart. When I see a chart like this, I just basically am not that enthusiastic because that's the kind of slope we have, and it's a downward slope. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, this is kind of just slowly moving downwards, unfortunately. Yeah, so I can't get excited about this one. They did, their sales were up 6% and their profits were up 33% in the last quarter. That's pretty good. Now that's for the December quarter. They're coming up on earnings in about 5 days. I wouldn't buy them before earnings, not especially not in this market. It's just this is a tough market to buy in right now, and I wouldn't be a buyer at this time for them, unfortunately. For Reynolds, I used to like Reynolds a lot. GNRC, thank you. Let's look at GNRC. GNRC. And there we go, Generac. Generac has been very strong. It's funny. This is a funny play because who would have thought that a generator company would be doing so well? But I can tell you, here in the Dallas area, they have Generac dealers, just like almost like Chevy dealers, and they're doing really good business. They have some very nice machines that work off of natural gas, so you're never stuck without the electricity, which is great if you do a home office thing. I mean, it's a very good thing. They've just been jumping to great levels. I mean, 70% up in sales, 174% up in profits. Wow, that's really good. 62% of this is owned by funds. It's not, it's in a consolidation. It's not technically in a buy range, but I think you could buy this. I really do. I wouldn't buy it. I would buy it as it reverses off of the 50-day line. Now let's see exactly where that's trading right now. Let's see if I can get the line up here for you. Yeah, I mean, at 322, well, we're right out there. So, I mean, if this thing moves up, I think you could buy this. You want to buy this on an uptick, though. You want to buy this on uptick. It's been very strong. It's a little bit of a sell off today. Everything's selling off in the market today, but overall, very, very strong. It had great earnings, and it's through earnings now, so it's really kind of a green light to buy this if you want. It is holding above the. Sorry, I got something on my eye here. It is holding above the 50-day line very, very well. So that is looking very, very good on that. So I do like the stock, and I think you could buy it at this level. I think you could buy it at this level. Let's see. Oh, YSG. Okay. RVP and okay. RVP is an interesting company. I had this one on the low cost list last summer, and I really like this company. It's based here in Dallas. It's called Retractable Technologies, and what they make is they have a patent on a special hypodermic needle that you can't get stuck with. So I think that's a really good product. But the problem is their chart just hasn't been doing well since the summer. Last summer I was loving it because we're getting these nice bounces, but it just hasn't been doing as well as it hasn't been doing as well as it had been, and unfortunately it's in a downward trend. It's broken below the 50-day line, so I don't think you can buy this one right now. So I think you're just going to have to avoid this one for right now, and it's kind of too bad because I do like the company, but the charts don't lie on this one, so I think you got to avoid RVP for now. I think that's really what you got to do. You gotta avoid this one. And I'll show it. It's got a little misspelling in there. I didn't quite get it in there right, but avoid this one for now because I think that it just doesn't have the right setup. Unfortunately, I wish it did, boy. But it does not have the right setup. So can't really recommend this one. Let's look at DraftKings. Thanks, Jeet. I really like your questions. You bring up some very good ones. DRKG draft DKNG, excuse me. DKNG, of course, is DraftKings. And this is, of course, the online sports gambling company. Now, interesting thing about this one is, this one it was performing very, very well. And now, not as much. It's just had this pullback, as you can see, and it's pulled below the 50-day line. I just don't think you can do anything here. There's been a lot of selling going on. Earnings are in 3 days, so I think you just basically, with DraftKings, you have to kind of wait on this one. It's bad. It's bad because, it's got a very nice leisure and gaming is doing well, 36 out of 197 in terms of the sectors. This has been improving, but until the economy reopens again, it's going to be tough. I mean, leisure and gaming, and this is probably the best of them because of it, the fact that it doesn't require, you don't have to get in the plane and go to Vegas on this one, but still, so just this is a tough year. This has been tough to invest in. Okay, let's check CCS and see what's happening there. CCS is Century Communities, and this one has been stellar. This kind of comes in. Thanks, G. Yeah, and it definitely, this one has been on my radar too. It's just looking very good. There are just not enough houses in this country right now. And for the millennials, and Century Communities is definitely one of the ones the best in this area. And it did gap up today. It's pulled back a little bit, but it did gap up. This one, I'd be very tempted to buy this one. I was in Green Brick Partners, which is a company that basically builds houses in Dallas area and Atlanta. I got shaken out of this one. This one looks even a little bit stronger than those two. Just kind of trying to look at a trend line. We seem to be coming up. It's going to pull back a little bit, but I like the general overall progress of the trend line. Yeah. Okay. See, what I'm doing here is this line here is the relative strength line, and it does have an increasing relative strength. I like that. It's a 94. Let's look at a competitor. I kind of want to look at some competitors in this space to see if this is indeed the best in this group. So I'm going to go to the. Hopefully, it'll give me it. It's not letting me. Come on there. All right. Here, competitor that I know of, and that's D.F. Horton. I think it's DFH. Is that right? That's D.F. Horton. No, that's Dreamfinder Homes. KBI. Kaufman. Well, for some reason I am not. Let me pull up the group here for Century, and let me see if I can. 65. So let me see if I can pull that group up here. Oops. Taking me a little bit of time here to kind of pull this chart up. It's a little bit buried, so I have to be. All right. There. Okay, so it's 65. All right, there we go. It took me a little bit to get that. This is the group, and as you can see, the home building group has done one of the best, at least for this year. I mean, it's just done very, very well. It still only has a 67 relative strength, but the trend line is moving upwards for the general group. So let's look to see kind of how it stacks out. D.R. Horton is the biggest with Lennar. NVR, this is NV Homes in Virginia. I believe Century Communities. Let's see, Century Blazer, Green Brick, Century. This is where Century is. Let me look at another one that's a little bit bigger. Taylor Morris. I want to take a look at this one as well. This is kind of a peer, and it's also doing quite well. 76 relative strength, a little bit flatter on the line though. It was up 32%. So they're all doing well in this group. With Century, I think that's definitely one that you could do. I think it looks very, very good. Let's look at ONEW. To take a look at the ONEW, ONEW. Yeah, let's take a look at that. That's One Water Marine. Wow, look at that. It is up. And this is a dry bulk shipper. And these guys have been doing well, along with like Zim and stocks like that. This one, I'm just trying to get a gander on this one. No, retail store. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought this was a dry bulk shipper. Excuse me. Oh, recreational boats. Okay. One Water Marine. Wow, look at that. Let's look at HZO as well. That's a competitor. HZO. I did very well. I had a spread on this one. Yeah, this is also doing very well. Yeah, I definitely think this is an area that this is a good area. The two that I like in this area, I like this one, but I also think you should look at HZO. This one has been doing extremely well. HZO Marine Max. That you might want to take a look at that one as well on there. So that's one that you might want to take a look on as well. HZO. Thoughts on Bitcoin by coin? I went over that a little bit. I think that as long as Bitcoin stays above 51,000, we're okay. But it's getting a little bit. Okay, that's the buy point for LPX. We did that. Generac. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hey, great, thanks. All right, DraftKings, we did that one. Like, hey, RVP and YSG. Let's take the next question. Oh, USUR. Let's look at USUR. USUR. Or maybe OSUR. OSUR. There we go. Technologies. Interesting. Oral fluid diagnostic products. Boy, and specimen gathering. Don't know much about this one. This is interesting. I've never heard of this company, to be honest. It did have it. It looks like it just reported. It's got a relative strength of 1. I think I'd avoid this one. I think I would avoid this one. Again, it's got a downward trending. It's got a downward trending chart. That's an issue. And I am just not that excited about this one. The profits were off 50%. Yeah, this is going to get slammed. Boy, I don't think you want to be in this one. It's got a bad checklist. The industry group is 125 out of 197. Oh goodness. It does have quite a few funds in it, 345, but none of the really good funds. Here's the thing on this one, on OSUR. I think you want to avoid this one. I don't think this one is going to do anything good for you right now. Let's see if we can take a question from TikTok. Hi, do you give real estate advice? Well, I do sometimes. I do give real estate advice, but right now it's a tough market to buy real estate in. I'll tell you why, because everyone is bidding up the price. Now, I know this is hard to believe, but I do believe we're going to have a pullback in the real estate market. But it probably won't happen for another 12 months or so. But I do expect that when inflation comes in, and I'm old enough to remember a time. Actually, I started out my career in the real estate business, and this was back in the 80s. And I was selling properties when the average interest rate was over 12%. It was very, very hard to do because very, very few people qualified. Now, of course, we've got record low interest rates, but I do expect that pretty soon they're not going to be able to hold these interest rates down long forever. And I do think that come the next year or so, we're starting to see this huge increase in demand. It's going to cause a huge spike in prices. As a matter of fact, I have a house that I'm going to be selling primarily for this reason. I want to sell into the strength. And then I think once it happens, the government is going to try to keep it going with rebates and everything like that. But I think it's likely to pull back, and I think that's going to happen probably in 2022. But who knows? I mean, this is a tough market right now. I wouldn't be buying real estate for investment. It's just too expensive. So it's not really an asset that I mean, if you've had real estate for a while, I mean, I've had real estate, over 15 years, and all my stuff has gone up way up in value. But I was buying back in 2008 when there was a crash, so it's a lot different than it is now. So right now with real estate, I just think it's very tough. You be very careful buying real estate right now. Just really, really be careful because it can really hurt you in this kind of a market. All right. Well, let's see. I'm going to take another question from. We did RVP. Okay. Is it a good time to buy Amazon? You know what? I think it is. This is the one stock that I have really high conviction in, even though it's down today. Um, they had a blowout quarter. I just think even with the reopening, I think that they're just going to continue to get better. I don't see it being any other way. I think they're down today. I mean, it's down after hours to 34.70. It did close down at 34.67. I do have a spread on this one, a bull call spread. Now it's a 34.75 34.80 spread, and it's retreated a little bit, but I do expect that as I'm seeing in the after hours, it pulled back. It looks like it's going to bounce higher. There was a lot of selling, but the earnings were up 215% quarter over quarter. So I still think this is a really good one, and it's right below a buy point. The buy point being 35.53. So I do really, really like Amazon. I think that out of the stocks out there, I think it's truly one of the best of the breed. There are some issues with the relative strength line, but it is starting to move upwards, and it wasn't for a long time. Amazon has been in a consolidation for a very, very long time. I mean, it's been in a consolidation since September of last year. So now I think it's likely. We'll see what happens, but if it moves, there is a quasi buy point at 34.96 and the true buy point at 35.56. So 34.96 and 55.52 are both buy points. And what happened is it pulled above that and then it pulled back. So hopefully this next week, it will move higher than this. If it does break above 35.52, then I think it is a buy. And I am preparing. I have calls on this because I do think that we will see Amazon appreciate. I think so. But if you do get calls, try to get a fair amount of time, at least 6 weeks, possibly 8 weeks or more. But I do think it's moving. I do think it is moving higher. Amazon. Let's see. AMAT. This is Applied Materials, of course. And Applied Materials is a ship equipment company. They make equipment that makes chips. So this has been a very strong area because there's a lot of investment required in this area. And so companies like AMAT and KLAC and companies like this that make the equipment to make chips have been doing very, very well. Lam Research is another one as well. It's pulled back to the 21-day line. It pulled below that a little bit today. We'll see how it trades. Unfortunately, looking at this relative strength line right now, I would not buy it, and the reason is because right now the relative strength line is trending downwards, and we don't want to do that. We want to buy it when it's trending upwards. In this market, it's much more difficult. It's not like it was just a few months ago, where if the prices had a nice trend, you could definitely buy them that way. I'm looking also not only for the price trend, not only for the volume trend, but I'm also looking for the relative strength trend now, because it's just a much harder market. Would I buy AMAT right now? Probably not. I would probably wait on this one to see if there's some more strength. I definitely watch listed though, because it's a strong stock. But I think we got to be careful. I think just we got to be really careful. Hi, Holly. Thanks. Thanks for watching my show. Mr. Jam, you skipped me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that. Let's look at CCS. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to. Sometimes I get going on these and today has kind of been kind of nothing most exciting today. But Mr. G, you have definitely picked a good one. This is doing well. It's doing well on after hours. It's up just basically 1 cent, but it's holding on to its gains. Century Communities. This is a good stock. I will say this. Would I buy it on the breakout? Probably not. I'm going to see. I would like to see how it trades this week, but the home builders are strong. This is one of the areas that's strong. The oils are strong, the home builders are strong, and the lumber companies seem to be strong. So those seem to be doing well. Not so much for the chip companies and the chip equipment manufacturers. I wish they were stronger than they have been. The mega cap stocks, it's sort of a mixed bag. Amazon and Apple put out some huge earnings, and they were not that powerful. Facebook, I want to kind of look at Facebook. Facebook has sort of been trading along with Google. Google has been trading the best of the group, but I want to take a look quickly at Facebook just really quick. Yeah, and Facebook are gapped up too. So Facebook and Google, they've been doing well. So in the mega cap stocks, that's kind of it. I sold out of my position in Microsoft. Basically it pulled back and I was out. So not an easy market to trade. Not an easy market to trade right now. I can tell you that. I'm about 70% in cash right now. Dogecoin. Dogecoin. I don't cover Dogecoin because I don't know anything about it. I'll be honest with you. I don't cover it that much. But people have done really well in it, and Elon Musk, definitely has done well in it. So I can't really give you anything on it. I don't trade in it. I don't trade in it. At least not right now. At least not right now. VXRT. Vaxart. All right. VXRT. Let's look there. Vaxart. And this is again a medical, which should be a defensive area, but again, just a really tough stock to trade. I'm going to look at the weekly chart. It's very thin and it has a downward trend. So, even though it pulled up, Vaxart, I don't think I'd want to be in it. We did have a huge spike today. So, something has happened. But here's the thing: their sales are down and their profits are down. So I'm not liking that. Let's see when are they going to report? Just want to see when they're going to report. They're going to report on the 12th. So we've got earnings basically in about 2 weeks. I wouldn't buy this one. I'm sorry. I wouldn't buy this one. I think it's just too risky right now to be in. Just be on. OCGN. We looked at this one yesterday. OCGN, and I just want to look to see. I really don't have anything to say about it. It's just, again, it's another one of these drug stocks, biotechs. And the biotechs are very hard to trade because they're very binary. This one has no sales and no earnings. So this is a complete bro stock, 7% fund. So they're basically just burning through capital. Again, in this kind of market, if it were 6 months ago, I would be more inclined to buy this, but right now I just think you got to be very careful. So I would avoid that one right now. I would avoid that one right now, basically. All right, CARR and SEE. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gene. CARR. Let's look at CARR first. CARR. Carrier. Yeah. Gene, I think this is a winner. I think you have picked the winner of the day. Winner, chicken dinner. I really like Carrier. Now, I have to be fully disclosed here. I used to work for Pratt & Whitney, which was one of the companies in United Technologies that owned Carrier. I know how strong this company is. This was spun off basically because United Technologies was too big of a conglomerate and wanted to focus more on its core businesses, Pratt & Whitney engines, that kind of thing. They spun off Otis and they spun off Carrier. They're both excellent. And I think that you have really a good, this is a good long term. Here's what I really like about Carrier is in Asia, they're building buildings like there's no tomorrow. And most of these have Carrier, many of them have Carrier air conditioners. When I was in Thailand just recently, well, actually a little over a year ago, I saw some of the manufacturing that they have in Thailand for the Carrier air conditioners. This is a great company, and I think it's very strong. It's had excellent earnings. I definitely think that this one should be on your watch list if you not buy it. You want for this one, I think it's a good time to take a look to see when it can be bought. And right now, Carrier CARR is in a buy zone, and I think it's worth your time looking at this. As you can see, this is what I'm looking for in the relative strength line. I'm looking for an ascending relative strength line. This definitely has it. It has an ascending price line. I definitely think that's good. It's trading above the 200-day, the 50-day, the 21-day, and the 10-day line. So that is all looking very strong in terms for technical action. Also, they went through earnings. Very nice. Their earnings were up 37%, and they have a huge user base. I know this for a fact. So I think this is excellent. There are 56% funds in this one. This is a profitable company right from the bat because it is spinning out from a larger company, United Technologies. So this is very good. It's up a little bit after just 1 cent in after hours, but I think this is definitely you could definitely buy this one, and I think this would be. It's come out of its consolidation. It's in a buy zone. I think it's buyable right now. So I think this is really a good place to be. Just kind of want to look at the monthly chart. Yeah, as you can see, right, this has come out. And again, this is a 100-year-old company, but this company actually invented air conditioners like about 120 years ago. But the reason that they're sort of a new issue is because they were part of United Technologies and they were spun out. So I think this is a very good. I'm going to put this out on my list. This is the kind of company I would like to own long term, because if even if there's not a whole lot of building, and I think there will be a lot of building and infrastructure. If there's infrastructure spend, this company will do great. So thank you for that very much, Jeet. That was a very good suggestion. Very good suggestion on that. Let's look at SEE. SEE. So out of this so far, I think the best one that we see. Oh, this is another great one. Sealed Air. You really definitely have a good eye for this, Jeet, because I keep calling Jeet 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's the right way, but you really do have an eye. This is in a buy zone. Very good stock. Again, Sealed Air. This has been around forever and a day. If there's a reopening in the economy, this should do very well. It's trading above the it's trading above the 200-day moving average, so that's good. Not a whole lot of increase in sales, only 3%, but their sales are up 14%. This is, I'm less bullish on this one than I am on Carrier, just because of their market position. But this is a very good company. A lot of funds are in this one, and it's just it's a very solid company with very good cash flow. So and 63% funds in it, and it's also in a buy zone. So this, you definitely could buy this one. It's not in necessarily the greatest group, consumer packaging, not necessarily the greatest group, but I of these two, I think the one you want to go with is Carrier. I think it's a better bet, but this is not a bad company, and it's right in the buy zone. So very, very good on that as well. All right, thoughts on Maxar and VACQ. Let's look at Maxar first. MAXR. An idea there. Maxar Technologies. This is this is old Maxar. I remember these guys. These guys used to make disk drives. Unfortunately, right off the bat, I have to say I don't like the chart. Because it looks like we've peaked out and we're pulling back. Now we might get a reversal off the 200-day line. Let's see if we can put a reversal line in there to see if there's a place. Here's what's got to happen with Maxar for it to be viable. It's going to have to move above that line. I'm going to put an alert on that line, and right now it's below that line. So it's making it came right up to it and then it retraced back. It's got an 87 relative strength, but the relative strength line is moving downwards. So I don't like that. Here's the thing. It's got earnings in 3 days. I think you got to skip this one. Maybe watch it carefully, but I think you gotta skip it, unfortunately. Um, VICO. I'm sorry, VACO. Let's take a look. Get that right? For some reason, I'm having trouble with my glasses today. VACO. All right, VACO. Oh, I'm not. It's not pulling up for me, unfortunately. Sorry about that. NIO. Okay, I talked about NIO a little bit earlier. All the automobile stocks since Ford's announcement have been under pressure. Again, they're suffering from a chip shortage. Um, I've been watching NIO very carefully. I was in it earlier, very early this year and late last year, but I haven't really been in it since it started its pullback. This is the line here. This is the reversal line, and it's above the reversal line, but it doesn't look like it can hold it. So, unfortunately, with this relative strength line, I think this tells the tale. This relative strength line is moving downwards, even though it does have a relative strength of 98. The relative strength on this is moving downwards. So I just think right now you just can't buy it. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's buyable right now. As you know, and I just think that's the case for NIO, unfortunately. Okay, so let's see if we have some questions from TikTok. Okay. I sold my Amazon today. Oh, well, selling, buying rumors, selling news. I do think Amazon's going higher, but let's take another look at it. I do think Amazon is going to go higher. Um, that's my opinion of it, but we'll see. We'll see. AMZN, of course, is the symbol for Amazon. It did pull back a lot today, but in after hours, it's already started to gain back. So, we'll see how it trades up. But I do think I would be holding it a little bit longer. It does seem like there's some resistance at about 35.52. That seems like there's some resistance there, but it hasn't broken trend yet, and the trend is still up. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't. I didn't sell mine. I have a call spread on Amazon right now, and I'm holding on to it because I do think it's probably going to go higher. But you never know. I mean, you never know in this game. That's for sure. Um, okay, so I'm just checking the TikTok here. Kind of. Maybe I can do it this way. Yeah, there we go. So see me better as I'm going through everybody here. Let's see. Hey man, I've been deployed. Been watching you for tips, growing my money. Thanks a lot. Hey, thank you. Sorry, I hope that you come back soon. I hope you're not deployed in where I think you're deployed, but just stay safe, man. Just stay safe. I was in the Navy, but I didn't. We had Westpaks. They were pretty hellacious, but nothing probably like what you're going through. So nothing like probably what you're going through. Okay, well, I am probably going to end it just a little bit early today, because I've got kind of today has not really been an exciting day. It's sort of been pulling back the market in general. But I'll be back on Monday, and if you'd like to get on the free action trailer, it's super easy to do. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then to the website, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then just need the first and last name and the email address, and we'll get you out the free action trailer. I'm going to probably try to do. I'm going to try to look for some candidates for some spread trades, and I will be getting out. No promises, but I just have to find one that's good for some free spread trade that I'm going to put out for everybody until Monday morning at until Monday afternoon at 2:30. Happy trading and stay safe, everybody.